Hello everyone, welcome back to Heat 3 in the SHI Tournament Olympics for Zelda II Randomizer. I am Hans Buttface. I am joined by Donny Donadello. Hello, Donny.
Good evening, Hans Buttface. It's going to be a wonderful time.
Yes, it is going to be fantastic time. We got two good runners here, AngryLarry and Neerrm. What do you know about these guys?
Well, I do know that their countries have been under a bit of strife. Two gamers, one Melvin and Anchors of Fire, have had a border dispute of late, and it's going to be interesting to see them representing their nations in such a difficult time. I know AngryLarry has been having some difficulties lately, and Neerrm definitely has had a stronger showing, so Larry will have to do a lot to represent his country.
Yes, AngryLarry is definitely the kind of guy who needs a butt pillow and is uncomfortable when he sits down, but both players are finding a palace here. What palace is this?
Well, Hans, this is going to be palace number 5. It's one of the most difficult palaces out there. Seems like both runners are not quite ready to challenge that one quite yet.
No, not at all. They're going to go be looking for some resources here. They found the town of Rudo, and we got a pair of caves to the north here. AngryLarry finds a red jar. He was not in the cave. Neerrm was in the cave. He's going to go into another cave. That looked like the right side of Parappa or Fairy Cave, but... Sorry, the left side of Parappa Cave. And we have P-Bear Cave here for Neerrm. What kind of items do you want to find early on?
Well, the number one item you're looking for early on is definitely the glove. No glove, no love, as they say. I've heard the kids say that one.
Yeah, the same guy who says that one has also come into my chat or other people's chats and said, "Hey, I was further along in the race than you when I forfeited. Haha, lol."
And we do have the hammer for Neerrm here in the P-Bag Cave. So that might indicate an early Death Mountain play.
Yeah, the hammer is good for a few reasons. One of them being, Neerrm changes the palette on his gameplay here. It's going to affect him going forward.
Fires of war raging through Neerrm's soul right now.
Yeah, he must be on some sort of global counter which has a sunrise and sunset built into the environment. Speaking of Death Mountain, AngryLarry is on Death Mountain right now. The hammer can be useful if you find Spectacle Rock, if you find any caves blocked by boulders, which we have not seen in the SHI tournament as of now, or as Neerrm is doing right now, plow right through the boulder in the road and go and find the palace here.
It's really difficult to tell what palace this is. I do believe that's going to be Palace 3.
Yes, it could be 3 or 6 right there. AngryLarry continues to wade through the swamp. Neerrm finds himself in Medicine Cave. He'll pick himself up another item here.
Yes, he's certainly off to a good start here. He's I wonder if the red is indicative of possible PED abuse.
It could be. The racers in the tournament are tested, but they're tested post-race, not pre-race. Because if they were, they would know AngryLarry is on something, trying to dip into 5 here. He finds a key door. He does not have the fairy spell or magic key, so he's going to leave, as Neerrm is going to pick up the flutes in Medicine Cave.
Rudy Tooty, fresh and fluty, Hans Buttface.
I could not have said it any better myself. AngryLarry seems to be a little bit confused about this overworld. Doesn't know where to go. He's seen both sides of Parappa Cave, Palace 5, and nothing in Death Mountain.
AngryLarry reaching attack level 2 as Neerrm is traversing Trophy Cave here, hoping to find a third item on the overworld. The item is going to be the heart container, as AngryLarry is reaching the P-Bag Cave, where he will discover the hammer.
Yeah, it looks like AngryLarry missed this cave in the North Swamp here. There's little sections of swamp everywhere, it seems. Nobody likes swamp, and nobody likes taking a death there, running right into an enemy.
Well, sometimes the enemies just jump out at you. I've seen many a player make many a mistake to the easiest of enemies.
Speaking of easy enemies right there, the axe-throwing Daira could be good for some experience points, but not if you game over.
Yes, we have got Dyros on both screens now. It's quite a difficult challenge when they're throwing multiple axes at you a second.
Looks like AngryLarry handled it and gets 100 XP, takes life level 2. So he'll be 2-1-2 heading on to this item, which is the hammer. Neerrm finds the back end of Saria. And then the raft. Raft on the grass tile right there.
The raft is one of the early items you want to find. It opens up the entire eastern continent. Lots of items over there on the eastern continent, but the difficulty of the continent is increased. So you definitely want to be prepared before you should decide to head on over.
One of the ways you can get prepared is finding downstab. Downstab you need jump or ferry to access. AngryLarry finds Medicine Cave and grabs the medicine there, and that can get him a spell, but we have not seen any towns to get any spells in yet.
We do know that Neerrm did not go into the Medicine Cave, but however has entered the town of Meadow, so he'll be kicking himself in the buttocks.
Yeah, that was on the early section of the overworld. AngryLarry is still walking around doing laps into the same thing. He's looking for a Bagu, I believe, without seeing Saria. And here...
It's always important that you do your due diligence on the overworld, as Larry is entering Death Mountain, which is not a terrible play. He has the hammer, after all.
Yeah, the hammer definitely led AngryLarry here. He's going to be walking through this little bunker cave. What can you tell us about Death Mountain?
Death Mountain is a series of maze caves that are a real pain in the ass. Any amount of caves, you might have to traverse through 7 different passes through caves to get to the fabled Hammer Cave, or it might be readily available. And you're also looking for a boulder. The boulder will be blocking a second item on Hammer Cave, but it requires the hammer to smash that boulder.
We did see the boulder on the screen, but it was in a different section of Death Mountain. What we can tell is finding the boots would not get you to the boulder any sooner, but other than that, it's a crapshoot on what cave will get you there. Looks like we have a town on Neerrm's side if you can get through this swamp. AngryLarry is going to dip into all the caves, then go through to another set of caves until he arrives at either Hammer Cave or the Spectacle Rock. And the sun has risen for Neerrm. Everything's right in the world. There's no more terrible night for a curse.
The most powerful magic in the easiest town.
Yeah, that's something you do not see a lot of, especially with these Swiss seeds I've been watching these kids play. Thunder in the town of Raru. AngryLarry finds a magic cave, which is one cave that leads to another, with nothing else in the area. It did not pay off this time, but we don't know what waits on the other side here.
Yes, there's definitely a possibility that not one, but even both items on Death Mountain may be required, so truly a gamble from AngryLarry to spend this time, but it could work out in the long run.
Meanwhile, Neerrm is exploring the southern half of Western Hyrule. Hyrule is divided into 2 sections, the west and the east. Death Mountain is located on Western Hyrule. Maze Island and the Valley of Death are located on the Eastern Hyrule. And more often than not, they are split into different segments, Western Continent being split into 2 segments, which seems to be divided by the boulder in the road, and the Eastern Continent divided up to probably 3 sections, maybe more if boots are required. But here is another item cave here for Neerrm. It's Heart Container Cave.
And AngryLarry discovering the Hammer Cave.
Yeah, that did not take too long. He's going to try to despawn this Gorilla, but I believe he went too far into the cave. To do that, I don't think you can scroll. Magic container there for Neerrm in wherever he is. Heart Container Cave.
Despawn or not, AngryLarry makes short work of that blue Korea as he will continue to traverse this cave.
I'm not sure. He may be on his last life.
It would be truly devastating to have come so far and to find the Hammer Cave only to game over.
Yeah, it would truly be a Linkin Park song. He gets nailed by the Megmat there going down the elevator, and believe he is a zombie.
An interesting level scenario there for AngryLarry. Wise to take the life level to refill his life bar. However, that leaves him in a bit of a predicament when it comes to experience. Typically, we'll see our runners take a very low magic and life level, so they are able to formulate a battle plan as they can. I somehow turned Irish.
That does happen, indeed, especially when you see Neerrm get the Reflex spell, and AngryLarry get rewarded with a 500-point P-Bag. So, more to your point, that P-Bag will help him get back on track, XP-wise, to take that level 3, but he'll be in a little bit of jam when he gets to pedestals in the palaces.
Well, Hans, I do believe they call that one being Dig Shook.
Quite entirely, but early on, it's not that bad to get that 500-point P-Bag and get yourself a few levels. You can compare him to Neerrm right now, 214 to 223 as Neerrm gets his medicine now. 314. He's got a little bit of an advantage level-wise, but Neerrm is clearing out the southern half of Hyrule pretty fast.
Yes, and we know that neither of the early spells are going to be required early on. We've got Thunder and Reflect. Reflect being required for Palace 4. Thunder being required for Great Palace, so magic not really having any effect on the early game here. So Larry perhaps doing the advisable thing and not taking any magic levels, as it's quite frankly not needed.
Oh, if you don't find any towns, you're not going to find any spells. But he walked out of Death Mountain looking for a way over to that boulder. He's on the eastern half of Death Mountain, and he knows the boulder's on the western half. He's checking different caves. He looks like he wants to try to find one to go through, or in fact, he went back to the other area, so he's just going to find a new cave now and head on through and hope it takes him to the boulder. But then again, look at this encounter. He's on his last life. He's got 1 bar of health left.
Meanwhile, Neerrm entering the old lady's house. She only required 1 magic jar, a little bit of an easy old lady, but however, she was only providing a P-Bag. So while some welcome early experience, not the advantage that Neerrm was looking for.
No, I think all bets are off when it comes to... And there, AngryLarry takes the death there. He does have 1 more life left. I'm sorry. I apologize. Early P-Bags, you do want them. But I think when you cross over to the Eastern Hyrule, you don't really want to see P-Bags at that point. You want to see items. And there is a magic level for AngryLarry. Worried about he's going to take a death. Oh, look at that. He finds Spectacle Rock. What do we have? And it's a heart container.
Oh, quite the spectacle there as Larry is up a creek without a paddle, you might say.
Looks like AngryLarry is typing in forfeit. Contemplating his decisions, maybe, perhaps eating a cookie. Or some sort of Drake's cake. Maybe a ring ding or a ho-ho.
I quite fancy the Twinkies myself. Those Americans have it figured out.
And there he goes. He makes his notes. And he moves on. He's going to try to find the way to progress here. I'm not entirely sure he saw that road going south. But he's going to enter the left side of Parappa Cave. On the chance that he misread the overworld. Let's see what Neerrm does here. He's exploring a little bit. He's north of the river. And as intended, or as designed, or thought of, AngryLarry does loop around to the same section of the overworld through Parappa Cave. Takes an up A, and he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to go Palace 5? No, he's not. And do you think he's going to go into Death Mountain and try to find the way out?
Well, considering he appears to be walking away from Death Mountain, that is definitely a possibility. However, he has done a lot of exploring in Death Mountain already. I think he would have, if that were truly an option, he would have taken it already.
So,
as Neerrm walking through Great Palace there on the eastern continent, eliminating that as a potential. He now knows that Maze Island or Valley of Death will be required.
Interesting move there. AngryLarry finds the road and decides to take the bridge over to the palace. Palace 3 or 6 over there. So Great Palace 3 to 6 and Palace 5 on the western continent.
AngryLarry, well known for his angry letters about bridges.
Yeah, certainly that bridge was pretty dumb. Neerrm is in the town of Nabaru. And he'll be getting another spell here, which will give him 4 spells to AngryLarry's 0.
And would you look at that with Thunder, Reflect, and Fairy, Neerrm has essentially almost all of the required spells.
Yeah, if you're going to be missing out on spells 4 to 0, you don't want your opponent to be having Fairy, Thunder, and Reflect. But AngryLarry is in Medicine Cave now, trekking on. He'll be picking up his item here shortly. And there is the flute. I wish I can see how long we've been they've been racing for. The restreamer who's in control of the timer went to Taco Bell and then went to the mall before it closed. So he'll be back soon. Said he'll be back in 14 minutes at the start of the race.
Well, you know, this day and age, it's really hard to find good help. We've got a lot of streams putting on a lot of subpar quality, and unfortunately it seems to have bled over to the SHI Olympics as well. I can't believe it.
We do have 8 people on the restream today, so we want to thank them all. We'll link them all in chat at the end of the race. You can follow them all, or you can go die in a fire. AngryLarry picks up his heart container there in Trophy Cave. And Neerrm finds Maze Island here. What do you know about Maze Island?
Maze Island contains 2 items and a palace. Quite easy to get through Maze Island if you have acquired the boots, but I do believe neither runner has seen the boots so far, so it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to get through, but if you can randomly access the items on Maze Island if they're so available, and if not, then you just deal with it.
And look, AngryLarry has found the town. He's going to go in there. See if he can get himself a spell. And it's the town of Mido. He's going to be able to get a spell. But he's not going to be able to get downstab. Unless the spell is jump or fairy. We'll see. Oh, it can't be fairy, but it could be jump. And there's the lady. Hands over the medicine, the red drank, as the kids call it. And he's going to get a spell. What spell is it? It is the jump spell. AngryLarry is going to be able to pick up downstab and thus takes the lead.
Downstab definitely a very fortuitous discovery for Larry here, as that does give him an advantage in combat over Neerrm, both runners having the same attack power. Larry having slightly more heart containers and a higher life level, so he definitely will be superior in combat.
I punched all these items and levels into the spreadsheet, and the formula tells me AngryLarry has about 11-minute lead right now.
I would just like to take the time to thank our analyst desk for sending Hans Buttface that information. Yeah. These guys work hard.
Yeah, we have 8 very attentive restreamers who also man controls, trackers, do stats, and actually look up past videos to find out what the history of these 2 runners are. AngryLarry is finding the second town. It is the bad end of Saria, but then he also finds the grass tile, and he'll be picking up his raft here. And I believe there are raft emotes, so people should use them right now.
I'll never understand the Instagram emotes. It's a little beyond me.
AngryLarry is continuing his exploration of the western continent. Neerrm's still looking for items here on Maze Island. He finds Palace 1, was that? And then finds one item on Maze Island.
Yes, that was indeed Palace 1. It's interesting that Neerrm would not elect to go in there. He has the fairy spell. He has everything he needs to complete that palace. But instead electing to look through Maze Island to discover more items, perhaps a bit greedy.
Well, he does not have the glove, and he does not have the boots, which could be helpful to him. But he also knows that there's only one more stretch of road left here on Maze Island, and he's going to find both items on it, having explored the rest of it. And there is item number 2 right now, and it is the kid.
What would a small child be doing on an island like that? Parents these days.
What was the first item there in Maze Island?
The first item was indeed a heart container.
Yeah, plenty of heart containers available to see. AngryLarry finds Trophy Cave for the second time. And he's going to go down south over this bridge for the second time as well. Not exactly sure what he's missing, but what Neerrm is not missing is Palace 1, and he's going to dive into it right now. Is there a castable fairy at Magic 3 and 5 heart magic containers?
I would certainly hope so. While not out of the question, Magic 3 and 5 heart containers, 5 magic containers, excuse me, should be at least 1 fairy cast at this point. Hopefully, maybe even 2.
Well, AngryLarry does find Raru now. I do not believe he went south over that bridge, now that I think about it. He's explored the eastern half of that middle section of the continent. Now he's finally on the southern section and in the town of Raru, and he'll be picking up his spell here. Spell of Thunder.
And we've got a magic container in Palace 1, so still no glove, no glove, no love.
So an early castable Thunder for AngryLarry.
And it does indeed looks like Fairy costs about 40 magic points, so with 6 bars, Neerrm will be able to cast Fairy twice per life, or per refill. It should be relatively easy to navigate through palaces with that much magic available.
So Neerrm just wants to go right here and hopes he finds Horsehead, and he does find Horsehead. This is our first boss fight of the race.
Easily the most difficult boss in the game. His hitboxes are indescribably high. If you aim above his head, you will actually hit him, but you hit him right in the schnoz, then you won't actually do any damage to him.
One of the better parts of finding a palace you can beat without the glove on Maze Island is you do not have to return. And Neerrm is done with Maze Island. Doesn't have to return, got both items, and placed the gem. AngryLarry is going to make his way to the last town, the only thing he's missing so far in the western continent. He cleared everything, including Death Mountain. And he'll be picking up the spell in the town of Saria. And then I'm interested to see what he's going to do next. Neerrm's just about on his way to exit Maze Island. Interesting Maze Island there. The first encounter you take, if you pass through that, you get to both item locations and the palace, all in a row. There's the reflect spell for AngryLarry. But if you move away from that encounter and go to explore the rest of Maze Island, you hit every other encounter first before you hit the palace or the items. So there's a quick way through Maze Island. This might be an opportunity for AngryLarry to make up some time once he arrives.
Neerrm has found the town of Darunia. He did pick up the child on Maze Island, so he will be able to receive the spell from the woman in Darunia. And uh-oh, the chimney was closed for Neerrm there. He was unable to traverse down it.
Yeah, clearly Neerrm doesn't know the trick where you have to hold down when you cast Fairy to get through the chimney. AngryLarry does arrive in Nukasudo. Look at that, he picks up the P-Bag with a beam. One of the very few times you'll see AngryLarry with a beam as he plays this game.
I'm sure he's beaming with pride with that accomplishment there.
That was not pun. Something to do with stab, but it didn't work out in my mind. Your joke was foiled. How about that? That's better. There's a spell for Neerrm, and it's fire. Fire is linked with another spell. Simultaneous spell getting there. AngryLarry got the spell of shield.
Yes, with the Swiss flags, fire can be a definite make or break, depending on what spell it is indeed tied to. It can be a cheap fairy or a cheap shield. It can be used to cast spell or thunder. We haven't seen the spell yet, so fire may be tied to spell.
Well, Neerrm has no magic because he used it to cast fairy twice, so he has not been able to test what fire is just yet. No real reason to either. I mean, it could be a cheaper version of another spell, but when you use that spell, you would notice what fire was. Because it works in the reverse way as of right now. You cast reflect and shoot your beams, or swing your sword, and it will launch a fireball. So I have not noticed a fireball yet. So it is very possible that fire could be fairy or life, or even the spell, something we have not seen yet. Now AngryLarry is finding Great Palace. Looks like he's still looking for something here. Well, he is on the Eastern Continent. My apologies.
Looks like Neerrm is a bit confused as to why he is. He did up an A after discovering the northwestern corner of the Eastern Continent. He might be returning to Mido to cash in that spell over there. And he will take the bridge, never mind.
Yeah, he's going to go around the bridge. Bridges are dumb in this game. They're more of a meme when you take them. You can most likely walk around it. AngryLarry finds Nabaru, but he's going to check the desert tile first, just in case it's something he needs in Nabaru. It's a possible P-Bag location. He does not have enough magic for jump. AngryLarry is known to dive into all the terrain tiles to collect all the free experience. I don't know if I've ever seen him win or place well in a race, if there was not a way to grind some levels or get some cheap levels.
Now, Hans, you can't be biased like that.
Well, this is what our researchers give me across our desk. All the information of where AngryLarry does place higher is when he finds good drippers and good iron knuckles early on. But he does have the fairy spell now. He's catching up in spells. He's only one gem down and more or less has the same items as his opponent.
He's definitely made some progress. It's also probably gnawing at Neerrm in the back of his mind, knowing that he does indeed have the hammer and has not quite yet found the glove. It might be in the back of his mind that he needs to go into Death Mountain when we know that isn't the case.
AngryLarry finds Palace 4 and decides to walk the length of it and then come back and hit the Iron Knuckle. It might be some sort of trick to get the Iron Knuckle to spawn all the time. We'll have to ask him about that when he comes into the interview after the race.
I did hear that AngryLarry is the money-making game master, so it would not surprise me that he has some sort of manipulation figured out.
Yeah, and he definitely watches a lot of bent glass tube streams, so if there's any swag to be had, AngryLarry's going to ride the swag coattails. He's using Thunder here to grab some experience. That Moa is worth 100, almost unheard of. He's going to take 2 magic levels, and with that, Reflect goes down to 38 MP, and he's in Palace 4, so he's going to go through. So great double magic level there by AngryLarry to get himself in the position where he can cast Reflect. Now it's just, he has to go find Carrick. And he does, look at that.
And quite the fast Palace 4 for AngryLarry there, but we also discovered that fire is indeed tied to thunder.
Yeah, definitely not Reflect, as AngryLarry's swinging a sword as he gets as he deflects the beams. Fire Thunder is very useful. Maybe not so much at Magic 3, but if Neerrm takes a couple of levels here, he can get that magic cost almost down to 8 MP at some higher levels, and pretty much thunder anything he wants. It's a 3 encounter VOD, and we walk into Palace 4. Neerrm is definitely a fan of Palace 2, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said 4. It's metric. The accent's throwing me off. I'm off my usual imperial system.
Be interesting to see what we find in Palace 2. There's certainly a number of options. Palace 2 may in fact be glove blocked. This may have been a trip through Valley of Death that is useless.
And there is my... No, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
We do see that the orange Iron Knuckle is the Dripper enemy there, worth 100 points, so definitely a fair amount of grinding to be done if so desired.
Yeah, especially when you get closer to the boss. If the Dripper is just one room away, you may want to negotiate yourself into a position where you get a couple levels at the gem, or before the gem. 100's on that cusp, though, of should I, shouldn't I get this next level. We'll see what Neerrm does. Neerrm is very pro Palace 2, pro Dripper, so I assume at some point in time he will be, even if it's to take Magic 4, he will be hitting the Dripper somewhere. But AngryLarry is on Maze Island right now. Gets through that gets to the first encounter and turns away. So it looks like he's going to explore the rest of Maze Island. Interesting, he's going to go through this branch. This is going to put him further away from that easy path in Maze Island and put him on the path to hit every encounter along the way. So following right in Neerrm's footsteps, maybe the footsteps are on the ground and he just wants to just do everything Neerrm does because he's his idol.
That'd be truly a Melvin thing to do.
Yes, let's talk about the teams here as our players navigate through. AngryLarry is representing 2 gamers, 1 Melvin, also featuring JSR 2 gamers, JSR 2 as we know him, and Zarnax 42. AngryLarry is playing Zelda. Oh, look at that! A vanilla glove location for Neerrm.
And that's going to be devastating for AngryLarry. Neerrm has all the tools he needs to complete the rest of the seed.
Have we seen the last of the palaces, though? Is there a potential we have a boot block?
I do not believe so. I believe Palace 4 was indeed the other palace in the east. along with Great Palace, so we've seen everything.
Yes, we certainly have. And just AngryLarry's team is JSR2 Gamers and Zarnax42. AngryLarry's other game is Super Mario Bros. 2 that he's playing for his team, 2 Gamers, 1 Melvin, while Neerrm is playing for Anchors of Fire, and he's racing Zelda II Randomizer and Super Mario Kart. We remind you that you'll be able to see the first round action of Super Mario Bros. 1 and Tetris. Super Mario Bros. 1 is being any percent category, and Tetris is 100 lines, level 0 start. Best 2 of 3. Those will be airing sometime next week. Check your local listings. So no magic key yet, huh?
Yes, definitely the magic key not available quite yet, as Neerrm actually finds the glove block, but fortunately picking up the glove in Palace 2 is able to just plow right through that one. And liberally abusing that fire spell as well to clear the blue iron knuckle.
And he goes and finds a dead end with no lives left. It's an easy up A right there. Neerrm will put himself on a better path to the boss. AngryLarry finds both items on Maze Island, and he's going to make his way back to Palace 1 now. So here we are in Palace 1 for AngryLarry. He does not up NA. He keeps his experience, but he does not have much magic to ferry through any doors. He's going to hope to find some keys on his way through. There's a P bag for him. Very close to another level. Decides to jump into the bubble twice. Maybe a third time. Nope. Leaves it at 2. And here comes a key for him. And Neerrm is just fire thundering everything in sight. Oh, Dripper.
Neerrm very excited to find that Dripper. And he will in fact elect to take that magic level, knowing that fire is tied to thunder, hoping to reduce the cost of fire to spam that to his heart's content.
Meanwhile, AngryLarry knows he has a key. He doesn't need to cast Fairy. Opens the door, grabs the magic container in 1, refills his health, so he'll be able to get out of here and get through some locked doors on the way. There are 2 locked doors, not including the one at the boss or the one he just opened at the item room. So with magic 4 and 6 bars, if AngryLarry does manage his magic correctly, he'll be able to get through both doors and not have to take an up A. Or not have to take a death abuse, I should say. Oh, yep, out of the corner of Neerrm's eye, he saw some blue drops, and Neerrm is a sucker for the Dripper. So there it goes. He gets a couple more 100 XP and finds another dead end. What is with this Palace 2 here, Donnie?
Certainly not the most straightforward of Palace 2s that we've seen in our days, Hans, but it looks like Neerrm is in love with the Dripper.
And again, that 100-point XP enemy is a pretty tasty threshold, whether you ignore it or sit to it. But being in a dead end and being several hundred XP away from the level, I don't know if he wants to up A here, but he's going to go for the level regardless at the Dripper. He's trying some strats there where you kneel down and bang the sword against the wall to have it, but he finds jumping up on that platform to be better. Pretending like you're going to leave, and then you come right back when the thing shows up. And there's attack level 4, and there's the up A. Well, meanwhile, AngryLarry's on Horsehead.
Make short work of that one.
Yeah.
A definitive lesson in combat for that horseman.
And there's a gem. Gem lead for AngryLarry. As Neerrm makes his way back into Palace 2 for a third, maybe 4th time. AngryLarry takes attack level 5. So AngryLarry has some better levels and has placed more gems, but does not have the glove or Thunder Fire. Being told this puts Neerrm at an 8.6 second advantage going forward at this pace. And it's growing by the 10th of the second every time Neerrm stabs a bubble. We finally arrived at Helmet Head here. $20 XP away. Neerrm's going to get his level here should he want it. Maybe he'll bump it up to the next. No, he's going to bump it up. It's going to be Magic 5. Don't think Neerrm's going to be eating this gem.
Meanwhile, AngryLarry traversing the rest of the Western continent here. We have not seen either of the P-Bag Caves. Neither item coming into play here yet so far.
No, and AngryLarry's running out of real estate here. It's just one last patch of desert with a lava tile on it. Even if it's a 500-point P-Bag, AngryLarry's not going to get a level. He realizes that, and he up-A's to go back to the start of Western Hyrule, maybe to go back to the east and re-explore the beginning? No, he's going to jump into 5 here.
Interestingly enough, we have dueling Palace 5s here. Neerrm has completed Palaces 1 and 2, Larry Palaces 1 and 4. But fortunately for Neerrm, he knows that he has the glove. All he has to do is defeat the boss, whereas AngryLarry might be tempted to find the item in Palace 5, and that might be a significant time loss for him.
Yeah, Palace 5 is one of the longer, if not the longest, dungeon you can find in Zelda II Randomizer. Neerrm is going to be making right turns. AngryLarry is probably going to be making left turns. Neerrm going to try to find the boss. Finds a dead-end room. He's going to be turned back and go a different direction.
He must have spied AngryLarry in the distance, is trying to catch up to him.
Yeah, maybe AngryLarry dropped his wallet, and he's going to return it to him.
That's definitely not going to happen.
If you opened the wallet, you would not want to keep it. Let me tell you that. But AngryLarry finds a good pattern on this Bridge of Idiot room. Just getting the unicorn heads to spawn, 2 of them. Easily be able to jump over them or just walk right by them. Takes a brick to the head and continues on.
Sometimes you just need a good knock on the head to knock some sense into you, you know?
Gonna take the up path here on this elevator and head left. Neerrm is on the Bridge of the Idiots right now.
So far, it's a very linear path. Actually, AngryLarry discovering the item room here. The item room, very accessible, all things considered. For Palace 5, not difficult, but he is going to be dig shook once again.
Yeah, that's a summary of the race so far for AngryLarry, diving into Death Mountain and finding a P-Bag. Diving into 5 and finding a P-Bag. He's going to have to hightail it over to the boss, but the good news for him is he has as many gems as his opponent. And his opponent's going to go grab that item as well. What do you think Neerrm is thinking here?
I have no idea. There's no point. Maybe the magic key?
Well,
or the boots for easier overworld traversal, but he's going to be dig shook as well. I believe these runners are shook all night long, as they say.
So AngryLarry finds a dead end and up A's. Neerrm is going to go back on that path to that dead end. following AngryLarry's footsteps right here. Something you do not want to be doing when you're technically tied in terms of game progression. But we know the items and the spells tell a little bit of a different story here, giving Neerrm, at this point in time, a 21.3 second lead over AngryLarry. Well, AngryLarry is doubling back to the rooms that Neerrm found earlier, and AngryLarry discovers the Dripper for the first time. 100 XP. He's going to pick up 310 XP in that room alone. Will he kill the blue iron knuckle? Nope, he does not.
I do believe the blue iron knuckle is only worth 70 experience points compared to the 100 of the Dripper, so definitely not a worthwhile investment.
AngryLarry's making sure the elevator does work and in fact goes up and down. He's going to rely on going down now. Knows there's a Mago in here. He's going to try to cast Thunder. He does not have enough magic. Luckily, he knew somebody who claimed they were Swedish and decided to point out all the red jars in the game that nobody else knew about until that point. And yet another dead end right there. This is live. It is Friday night, 10:46 p.m. on the East Coast. How are you guys today? It is cool and chilly, 43 degrees outside. So what are you thinking about this Palace 5 here? Are they just handling it wrong, or is it going to be another one of those Palace 2s where every room's going to be in front of you and every dead end in your path until you take the right left?
It's certainly been one of the more complex Palace 5s. You know, it's a bit difficult to go the correct direction on your first go, especially when lefts are required. So I don't fault either one of these runners for the decisions that they've made so far. It's just not working out for them.
But Neerrm is in a couple new rooms here. The Eco Key room, followed by the Block Platform with Stupid Idiot room. And does arrive at the boss first. But he's definitely low in life right now. And taking that mace right to the face. And then again, puts him even lower at life. AngryLarry tries to pick the key up, being a fairy. He wants something named after him so bad in this game, he's willing to risk anything.
I believe AngryLarry has multiple things in this game named after him, namely that one room in Great Palace, with the 3 separate directions and the lava pits.
Most of those rooms do not show up, though, with Short Great Palace. And there is the gem for Neerrm. Going up 3 gems to 2. AngryLarry right behind if AngryLarry can manage Guma. Gonna walk into him a couple times as well.
Yeah, both runners clearing Palace 5 in roughly the same amount of time. Well, I believe I have jinxed AngryLarry there.
Well, you're not a real Zelda II Randomizer player, I hear, unless you do die to Guma at least once. AngryLarry gonna go in on the hitbox, see if he can get in there, jackhammer a couple times. Looks like he's trying everything. He looks like he's just making up stuff now.
Well, as the kids say, fake it until you make it.
Yes, they definitely don't in this country. But Neerrm is in Palace 6 right there. No hesitation from Neerrm as AngryLarry downs Guma and is going to place the gem. Just gets right into this room and dives right through it. Takes care of the things in front of him and moves on. Going to take the drop here. Hope he has Fairy queued up. Fairy required cast almost every single time you drop in that room, and there it goes. On demand.
Hans, your prowess for commentating this game showing through.
It's the 11 restreamers and trackers we have right now. Follow them all, please. They give me copious notes before we start the race. And I read some of them sometimes.
Oh no, Neerrm just failed to jump there. He missed the gap and he's probably kicking himself in the ding-ding.
Yeah, I believe you guys say he's having a wank right there as he falls.
No, that's not what we say.
I've heard it both ways. But AngryLarry's going to go back over to East. No, he's going to make another lap. We remember AngryLarry has made several laps on this circuit before, practicing for the Hyrule 500. It's going to happen later on in the year. Indy 500 weekend, there's going to be a big Zelda II Randomizer race, and they're going to all find a road and just race around it for a couple hours. So what do you think AngryLarry's thinking right now as he decides to take the bridge for a third time?
There have been many cases in the past where the glove was in Palace 3 or Palace 6, so he might be thinking he's exhausted most of his options in all of the other palaces, so he may be digging one of the normally glove-required palaces early in order to potentially pick up the glove here, even though we know it is in fact in Palace 2 and Valley of Death.
He's going to ferry through this door here in Palace 6, the same palace Neerrm is in. He's going to stumble upon a glove block right away, and he's going to walk out exploring more of the palace. No, he's going to up A, and he's going to leave.
Interestingly enough, Neerrm actually electing to take a death, so he had enough magic to cast Jump, not wanting to fall into the Canadian hole.
Could potentially pay out here as he finds the sub-boss Rebonek. It's going to allow him to pass through to the other side of the palace. No guarantees that the Rebonek leads to either the item or the boss. It could lead to something else. Is there a right side dead end in, well, yeah, I guess it could be the right side elevator room that can loop to itself. We've already seen that, though. Yeah, there are plenty of right side dead ends. Now that I think it'll take a few minutes to think about it, I'm inexperienced in this game. They hire temp announcers for this race, but 14 qualified restreamer and trackers.
Neerrm discovering the item room in Palace 6, so he will back away. He does not need any items, so he will just fall into Canadian hole after all.
Well, AngryLarry finds Palace 3 here. So far, so good. After one right-hand turn, there is no glove block in his way. He wishes he does have the glove because he can't seem to jump up on these platforms. There he goes. Simultaneous boss battles here. There's a quick Rebonek for AngryLarry in 3. And Neerrm has indeed found Barba. Well, despite not having the glove, that's not stopping AngryLarry from placing gems. This is going to be gem number 4. But he's going to need, not having the glove, he's going to need to turn right back around and try to find the item. There are 2 rooms that can potentially glove block you in Palace 3. AngryLarry has found neither of them so far. And Neerrm places his 4th gem. Remember that Palace 4 is just a right-hand turn away from the boss, so technically Neerrm has 4.5 gems right now. And I'm being told it's a 4.5-minute lead right now. 4.5-minute lead for Neerrm going into this point in the race.
Yes, having that glove advantage is certainly going to speed him along, whereas AngryLarry burning his time away here as he traverses through Palace 3. Just an unfortunate sequence of events for him, just not going to play out the way he imagined.
No, and there could be an alternate path to the boss in 6 that does not require the glove. Going left in that first room, down the elevator, perhaps bringing him to a different area in the game where he can fall down and get to where he needs to get to. He does find the item in 3. Let's see what he gets.
Oh, goodness. Another dig shake. Dig shook. Once again, AngryLarry up resets in disgust.
Yeah, we're going to move that anger meter up to 9 out of 10 right now. AngryLarry getting dig shook in Death Mountain, Palace 5, and Palace 3. He's going to go the wrong way on the Hyrule racetrack there. He doesn't care anymore. And he's going to go over the Eastern Continent as Neerrm enters Palace 3. And again, Palace 3 was very short as well, so 2 palaces left for Neerrm. Both of them are right-hand turns right to the boss. But knowing the Great Palace is on the Eastern Continent, and knowing that this is the last possible palace he can go through, he is actually going to go through Valley of Death to get the Palace 2. Makes 2 good fairy feats there, as Neerrm is on the Reboneck fight. Now he's going to just take the encounter and try to skip through it. I don't think he got it. He gets it that time. Hopefully there's no invisible Moa. There it is. Neerrm places the gem. 1 more palace left. Do you think he saw a Palace 4, right?
I do believe he did. It's possible that he doesn't quite remember exactly where it is on the Eastern Continent, but will certainly be headed that direction nonetheless.
Oh, here is Palace 2 for AngryLarry. Palace 2 gave Neerrm a lot of trouble with its layout. Let's see if AngryLarry can make up some time here by taking fewer minutes to do it.
So we do have a question from chat. Are you still a Canadian if you died to be able to cast jump through to traverse the Canadian hole? Does that cover you in maple syrup or no?
I'm not entirely sure. The hockey stick might weigh you down, so that might negate the effects of jump, and that's why they drop all the time. It's very hard to jump with hockey skates on this, like, what is this, granite tile floor? I don't even know what to call this. AngryLarry casts Thunder there, and now does not have enough magic for Fairy to get through that door, and the item is actually on the other side, I believe.
Just a really unfortunate turn of events for AngryLarry there.
Yeah, AngryLarry is a vanilla player of this game. Not really sure exactly his experience in Randomizer, but it is kind of showing here, making mistakes like that. He finds a room where he's going to have to drop through and cast Jump or Fairy to get out. So before he goes that direction, he's going to turn back around. He's got the red jar, so maybe he's going to go get through that door. Queues up Fairy, and yes, he's going to go through the door.
And Neerrm has made his way to Palace 4. This is his final palace that he has to complete. He's got some interesting levels here. He's got Attack 7, Magic 6, but only Life 4, and it's not a standard spread that we normally see.
And there is the glove pickup for AngryLarry as he casts Magic Fairy to get through 2 doors. He's not going to have enough magic to cast Fairy to get through this next door, though. Or to get back through this other door. And he realizes that now he's going to go take a death. Or he's just going to get that red jar that's up there.
Quite the play there from AngryLarry. Not only does he get the red jar, but he's able to enter the next room and cast Fairy and get a little bit of extra magic.
Yeah, the red jar gives you full health, full magic back up into the point of the magic containers you have. And being told that we're going to switch on over to Neerrm's audio now that he has all 6 gems placed. So, rip headset users as that happens, and we enter the hour mark. Now, can AngryLarry get to the boss here? Because it took Neerrm quite a bit to get there.
Alright, so Hans, you're entering Great Palace. What are you looking for as you enter here?
Well, standard rules and tutorials tell you to go right until you can't go right anymore. But you want to definitely pay attention to all the paths you could take or have not taken yet, so that if you do arrive at a dead end or loop around, you know exactly where to go next. Always want to know where to go next in Great Palace. And well, if the Thunderbird is 2 rooms in front of you, then even better. But Darklink will always be beyond Thunderbird, and you're always guaranteed to get to all the rooms it generates. So we know that with no paths left untaken before Thunderbird, we could have quite a GP ahead of ourselves here.
Yes, with Thunderbird at the beginning, as Neerrm takes him out here, definitely you can't. Normally, runners can use Thunderbird as kind of like a checkpoint throughout GP, but when he's at the beginning, you don't get that luxury.
And we do know Neerrm has upstab because he failed to Fairy Claws down the chimney at least once. So that's not going to stop him. Nothing's actually going to stop him in Great Palace other than jumping right into the lava there and losing life and perhaps game overing later on.
Interestingly enough, Neerrm electing to go up in that room as opposed to down, and he does find another right exit.
And this is the first of 4 drop rooms we found. You are guaranteed to be able to get to the exit or the boss of the Great Palace or back to the beginning. Drops cannot bring you into a dead end being trapped situation, but there's 2 drop rooms back to back. Neerrm takes the second one.
Meanwhile, AngryLarry is still traversing Palace 2. He does seem to have found the boss here. Probably made a shorter work of that than Neerrm did, for sure.
So Neerrm arrives at an elevator room. So there's one path to the left there. He has not taken back-to-back elevator rooms. There's a potential that this loops to each other, depending on the enemy set. Because we do know that you have the Enchantress and Numbers room that you can go back to. Actually, it cannot loop to itself because there would be no way back to start. But he does find a dead end, so he's going to go up this elevator. See where it takes him. Still has that left-hand turn to take in that prior elevator room. AngryLarry up A's to get himself closer to Palace 6. Hopefully he remembers exactly where it is. And a little digger there for Neerrm, so this branch did not work out well. He's going to have to go down and around and make a left in that other elevator room. AngryLarry takes the bridge again. Must be a good bridge if AngryLarry is going to keep taking it. Clearly he lost 20 minutes of time just navigating this bridge in the seed. As Neerrm shows off Fire Thunder.
Certainly makes quick work of them. Those blue fuckers, as they're called.
Well, 2 Thunder casts does not even kill this spicy chicken. And AngryLarry does not get through that room as smooth as Neerrm did. The rope snipes him 360 no scope off the halo jump. This is a potential room you can fall into later on if Neerrm decides to take another drop. And here's a fairy room.
It's definitely one of the more uncommon rooms when the Great Palace has been shortened by the flags, so certainly interesting to see this room.
Yeah, shortened Great Palaces remove 25 to 50% of the rooms of the normal Great Palace, but only those that have 2 entrances, or exits, if you will. Rooms like this elevator room will never be removed from Great Palace, and there's 4 of them. This is the 3rd one Neerrm has seen so far.
Neerrm electing to use the Thunder spell on one single blue bot, so it's certainly a terrifying enemy.
Their patterns are RNG based, so you don't know which way it's going to jump, even when it's moving in one direction. Neerrm finds a right side dead end, the north part of the L7 room. That is also a room you can drop into later on. So Neerrm's going to put that in the vault and retain that information. That fancy footwork by Neerrm there. Have you ever seen anything like that in your country?
Not in my country. Mostly we just eat large breakfasts.
There is the southern half of the L7 room. Neerrm's going to take the drop. So he lands in one of the 3rd of the 3 available drop rooms left that he has not seen so far. This could be a good situation here. He's in the, call this the Jackamus room because of prior tournament results. And he's going to take a right-hand turn. And no Dark Link yet. Meanwhile, AngryLarry up A's, and he's going to go a different direction in Palace 6. Once again, getting foiled by that jump. AngryLarry gets knocked back into lava. Up A's, it's only 2 rooms away. But certainly at an hour and 8 minutes, not the time you want to be wasting.
Unfortunately for Larry, Palace 6 is giving him a bit of a run around here. He will have to work hard to catch up to Neerrm at this point.
Yeah, Neerrm's not having such an easy time in Great Palace either. He just finds a dead end. That was a long path to it. He's going to have to go back to, I believe, the Jackamus room, which is 1 elevator and 3 rooms away total.
Certainly a bit of a trek to return to where he was, but still faster to walk than to reset and try again.
He's going to make his way down the elevator. This is the 4th and final elevator room. And a dead end to the right. So he's going to be forced left here. AngryLarry casts jump, gets the jar. This is something he was not able to do before. He had to leave that room because he did not have magic to pass through that door. Back-to-back corridors for Neerrm right there. A trifecta of corridors. It's a long elevator shaft that's overcompensating from the creator of Zelda II Randomizer. AngryLarry's making his way to the Rebo pass-through, followed by item room area of the map, and Neerrm has found Darklink.
Reaching the end of the match here, Neerrm traversing through Great Palace and is very likely going to be taking home the W here for the Anchors of Fire. 2 gamers, 1 Melvin. They'll be filing an official protest for having this Melvin on the team.
Yeah, certainly played like a Melvin. Not exactly sure he is the Melvin on the team, but the results speak for itself. Advancing in heat number 3, qualifying for the semifinal round, is Neerrm with a time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Congratulations to him. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview.
Yeah, while we wait for that, AngryLarry looks like he's pausing. Maybe he's going to drop out of the race. Nothing else left to play for. Not even his pride, but he's going to go on. And I believe we are joined by Neerrm right now. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? That was an interesting race.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Good game. Great time there. I see you had a few supporters in chat, but before we talk about that, why don't you tell us how the seed played out for you and your decision making going forward?
Well, it was really interesting glove location. I got a little bit lucky with glove being in 2 and 2 being one of the first palaces I checked. I don't recall seeing any P-bag caves either, so got lucky on the glove, and then the rest of the seed was basically free with Reflected Thunder being readily available and Fairy as well. So better lucky than good, I guess.
The 12-page commentator guideline rules for the tournament tell me that I should not be ignoring AngryLarry right now, and he is at the Barba fight. He jackhammered for about what he thought was an hour. He actually only hit it twice, and he's taking care of Barba right now. But so glove location, it was vanilla. You went into Valley of Death pretty early, but it seemed like Fire Link to Thunder helped you quite a bit there near the end. Why don't you tell us about that?
It's always interesting to see seeds that are have Thunder tied to Fire. It really kind of changes what the entire way you play the game. Like as soon as I saw that, I started taking more magic levels than I normally would, just because being able to cast Fire 6 times per magic bar is a luxury that you really can't overlook.
No, and you got your levels as you needed them. You found a dripper later on to get enough to get more magic levels. AngryLarry places the last gem, takes attack level 6, so he'll be 6, 6, 7 going into Great Palace. Saves up A's, and he's going to take the shorter walk to the raft tile. Anything else in that seed that was particularly interesting for you? You got the magic spells you needed very early.
One big thing was definitely getting the hammer early. It was certainly in the back of my mind, you know, Death Mountain was always an option for the glove, and I know that AngryLarry is one of the players who likes to go into Death Mountain early, especially since he BGT'd Death Mountain and made a tracker. So fortunately for me, it worked out in that the glove was not on Death Mountain, or nothing else important was on Death Mountain, as far as I know.
Donnie, do you have any questions for Neerrm?
Well, certainly a great performance, Neerrm. How do you feel that you're progressing to round 2? Well, it's definitely going to be a difficult tournament. A lot of big names in this tournament as we moving forward here. I obviously don't know who my opponent is quite yet, but it's going to be a hard battle throughout the rest of this. Looking forward to taking home the gold for the Anchors of Fire here.
Pretentious Idiot, one of our restreamers, said that your next opponent is actually going to be Jackamus Wedge.
Jackamus Wedge is indeed a terrifying opponent. He's had a lot of outstanding performances in different tournaments. How do you feel going up against Jackamus? Jackamus is kind of a wild card. I don't really know. It's really hard to... You can't really like play against him. You just gotta kind of play your own game and then hope he doesn't kamikaze his way through a seed faster than you do, because he's kind of a madman when it comes to this game. Probably the most unpredictable player that I've ever seen.
Yeah, in the 8 hours of watching game film before this, AngryLarry is at Thunderbird. I just hit my quota of talking about the other guy still racing while interviewing the winner, so we no longer have to talk about him. In the race that I watched prior to this match that featured Jackamus yesterday, he ate 4 gems at pedestals. And certainly in a Fire Thunder Seed, you don't want to be wasting those magic levels. That could play a part in it as well. But let's get on to the more controversial topics of the thing. We had somebody in your chat say GL to you. Was that a reference to a hint being Glove was in the Villanella location?
That's certainly something that our officials will be investigating prompto. Neerrm, do you have any comment? Your name is being drugged through the mud here. Well, you got me.
Yeah, and even to further point something out here, the second person who chatted in your chat did a hand emoji, then a Garfield emoji, and we know Garfield likes lasagna. Lasagna sometimes drips if it's not cooked properly. Drippers are in Palace 2, so he was actually referencing something on your hand is in Palace 2. What do you have to say about this? There's 2 people in your chat pushing you towards where the glove was.
I'm going to have to speak with my lawyer. I'm not comfortable discussing this anymore, and I'm actually going to leave this interview right now.
All right, well, there's your race winner, maybe, Neerrm, playing for the Anchors of Fire. I believe... Donnie and I will be talking about AngryLarry now, because AngryLarry might come out the winner of this. We're going to have the IOC or the SHIOC, something like that, look and review this case. See if Neerrm does not delete that VOD that has the chat saved with it. Is AngryLarry on the right path here, Donnie?
He did take a drop here. I do believe this is going to lead him in the right direction. I cannot quite recall if he is... further along in the palace than I believe he is. Now, this is the first required drop, and then he's going to have to make his way to the one required drop room, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on this, though.
Yeah, he was doing some amazing things when Neerrm was trolling around Great Palace, so it was hard to keep your eyes off of him. I believe this is the elevator room that has the dead end to the right that's going to force him back to the left. We may never know, because he decides to let that blue Fokker kill him. He's going to make his way back. I don't know. I don't actually think that dead end I'm thinking of had a enemy on this side of the screen. I think it might have had 2 enemies on the left side of the screen. Yeah, this is the back-to-back elevator rooms that Neerrm found early. So AngryLarry did a bit of different exploring early on.
One of the many dead ends in Great Palace here, as Larry's going to... looking like he's going to take roughly the same path that Neerrm did. Obviously, the meta in Great Palace is to take as many rights as possible until you can no longer. And then first take the immediate closest branch and then start going right once again. So I expect to see much of the same out of AngryLarry that we did for Neerrm here.
And AngryLarry grabs that little digger. Just a reminder of all the P-bags he's seen so far in this seed. And he's going to up A and start over. This gives us a great time to reset the tournament, the Olympics. The Zelda II Randomizer Swiss flag event. Heat number 1 was won by Jackamus Wedge. Jackamus will go on and play the Heat number 3 winner, that is Neerrm. And the winner of the other race played so far was Buzz Thunder over Rezo Vijay IX, who both players had an incredible run. Buzz actually finished that in 54 minutes. And Rez did an hour and 1 minute, I believe, maybe an hour flat. They're going to play the winner of Rose City Saint versus Dig Shake, which has not happened yet. Everybody who wins in their first round heats will go on to compete for at least a medal. The winner of the next round will go on to the gold medal match, and the losers will contend for the bronze medal.
Will certainly be interesting to see. I have not seen a lot of the Dig Shake as of late, so I do believe I heard a rumor that he may or may not have quit the website Twitch due to his ineptitude of updating this Zelda II Randomizer, but that is only the rumor. I think I read it on the Twitter.
Yeah, that is a possibility. He could be hard at work updating this randomizer that has not been updated since the last tournament. But that's how it works. He puts a lot of effort into his updates and then takes a long time to play them. We have a report in chat that says his life is strange, and I could not agree. Could not agree anymore, I should say. Neerrm, though, like I said, anchors a fire. He is also joined by Sleepy Mario and Puke7 on his team. We'll be seeing Sleepy Mario and Puke next week in the first round of Super Mario Bros. 1 and Tetris.
Certainly a formidable group of folks there.
And for those that are interested in the SHI tournament, on behalf of the 27 people that assemble the board of directors for the SHI tournament, it is a 16-person tournament, but spots do open up, so make sure you send a message to AngryLarry and get yourself on the wait list in case one of those spots open up. There's roughly a tournament every 2 months. It features a blind game that you play. You have 1 week to prepare for it, and then you race several matches and then lead up to a very complicated tournament structure that has promotion and relegation, or like as they like to say, sinkers and floaters.
It's truly one of the more revolutionary formats I think I've seen out of the tournament communities. Definitely one of the more interesting and relatable events.
We also have another question in chat that says, is this Canada? This is not Canada. This is Hyrule.
How could you even make such a mistake? Hans, I don't understand. What do they feed these people here?
It's like chinchilla macar doodles or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. Chia pet macaroons.
When's the last time you had a good macaroon there, Han?
I don't know what a macaroon is, but I think my favorite biscuit is Keebler Fudge Stripe.
I don't understand how a Keebler Fudge Stripe is a biscuit.
I don't understand how somebody can be English and then Irish and then English again.
Don't judge me.
AngryLarry loops around, and he's going to have to go back to start here. So a couple pretty quick levels here, palaces in the seed, and then there were a couple that just took forever for AngryLarry to complete. Even Neerrm took a while to complete them. Just seems to be going in every direction, exploring every possible branch, and not arriving at the path he needs to take.
Well, certainly one of the more trolly great palaces. Obviously, one drop room leading to the correct direction. That means there's at least, obviously, one's required. Well, was there even one that was required? But definitely the other one's looping you in opposite directions. So if you don't take the correct drop room, you're in for a world of hurt here.
I'm being passed a note that says you guys have talked too much about Zelda II Randomizer. We appreciate you doing the commentary, but can you please ask chat what their favorite microwave dinner food is? Could that be dinner or lunch? Well, I'll make it dinner or lunch. Anything you cook in a microwave that you can consume as a meal and not a snack, what would it be? How about you, Donnie?
Well, I'm definitely a fan of the Hot Pocket. A good pepperoni Hot Pockets or a good meatball Hot Pocket. I'm not so much a fan of like the steak and the cheese, but definitely a good Italian-based Hot Pocket really satisfies me.
Got some interesting answers in chat right now. El Monterey Burritos. Salisbury steak dinner. I like that when it had the mashed potatoes and like the tater tots in it, where you have to lift up the plastic off of one end and like stab it with a fork in another section. Then we have a 22 frozen meatballs. That sounds very specific, or 22 could be a brand. I am not aware of that. What about like a single serving beef ravioli where it has a little cup in it? You put the cup in the microwave. Well, you take off the tin foil top first, put the cover back on, and then put it in the microwave. Those are pretty good.
I'm typically not a fan of those. I feel like the ravioli is a little bit too soggy once it's been sitting in the can for too long.
Well, Chef Boyardee is not, in fact, a real Italian. And, oh, man, we got afterbuzzed there from AngryLarry. But I do like your Hot Pocket idea. There was a white creamy garlic grilled chicken. I don't even know how to explain it. Like kind of like a white pizza grilled chicken Hot Pocket. It might have even been a lean pocket. They were 10 for $10 at my local grocer one time. And those were pretty good. That was not getting buzz thundered. That was getting afterbuzzed. He avoided the big drop and got splashed on. So somebody give this guy a towel. See, awesome jump right into the enemy there, and we're gonna keep playing. AngryLarry's trekking on here. I don't know last time he forfeited a race. It's been a while. He's definitely due for a couple in a row. But it looks like he's not going to do it here. He's going to finish up. What other microwave foods could there be that are outstanding? The only thing I can think about are Hot Pockets and like TV dinners.
Yeah, TV dinners are definitely the way I was headed. I'm thinking like some like chicken tikka masala and TV dinners, a little bit of Indian flair.
I tell you what, one of the frozen foods I like, and I have that waiting for me downstairs in the kitchen, is a chicken cordon bleu. It's a chicken with ham and a Swiss cheese. AngryLarry finds the dead end. I believe he's going to be on the right path now. He's just got to take that trip back to the Jackamus room and go down. But it's very delicious. I like to cook it. The problem with it is you have to preheat the oven and bake it for like 35 minutes. And it's just at that point in time, you're drinking so much soda and eating so many chips that you just don't even want to eat anymore. I'm being told not to talk about microwave popcorn because that was touched upon earlier in today's race.
Oh, one item I overlooked that I haven't actually had in a while, but can be good in certain scenarios, corn dogs.
Do you eat the corn dog on a stick?
Absolutely.
Does the stick have a joke on it, like what's the sexiest cow in the barn? Or what's the sexiest animal in the barn?
I do believe they all have jokes, but for some reason they all say dig shake.
That definitely trumps my answer right there. There's the free elevator room. It's actually brown chicken, brown cow is the answer to that popsicle joke. Actually, I don't even think that was a popsicle joke. AngryLarry decides to fall in the hole. I don't know exactly what nationality that makes him. But he's able to cast jump and 3-cycle his way out. Down one corridor. Oh, he's going to go through. Probably not going to be a fairy in here. Probably a red jar. Oh, it's a fairy! Carried.
AngryLarry stumbling upon a little bit of luck there. That's going to save his pride.
Sexiest animal in the barn is brown chicken, brown cow.
And one thing we actually haven't touched on in this Zelda II Randomizer race, AngryLarry never turning in the child and getting fire as thunder. That's certainly slowing him down compared to Neerrm here.
Well, in my notes, that was something I did want to ask him later on, where he arrived at Fairy, Thunder, and Reflect pretty quick. Was he trying to do this as fast as possible and ignoring other spells? Life could have helped him as well. He definitely did die a lot, but he is on his way to Darklink now and should be finishing this up rather quickly. He is one of the better fighters of Darklink that Zelda II Randomizer has. And certainly not living up to that reputation. Darklink decides to jump away from him a few times. One more hit left, and there it is. AngryLarry has finished up. Second place, time of not 1 hour and 11 minutes.
And I do believe he has joined us for the post-game interview. Welcome, AngryLarry. I am sorry for your loss here. Tell us how you're feeling after that one.
I don't know, like, what I could have done better. I mean, Neerrm played very fast, and even in the most easiest of seeds, I don't think I can play that fast. It took me a little while to get that glove, and I certainly did not recognize what to do in the early part of the game. I found that hammer, and, like, the way my mind works, I don't know, like, if anyone knows this, I've explained it before. The way my mind works is if I get that hammer early, I'm looking for a way to use it like the game is telling me something. And all I found was Parappa Cave and, you know, where the hammer was. And, well, also I think the medicine was there. But then I also found Death Mountain. So immediately I'm like, you know, I'm just going to dive Death Mountain. I don't see anything else. Death Mountain has, you know, the raft, because the raft tile was in the first area, or it has the boots, or, you know, it has something to make me progress. There's nothing else I can find. And, like, nothing was there, and I still didn't know what to do. Like, I wasted so much time in the overworld just trying to find a way to get to another section, and there was just a road right there with the boulder blocking it that I just had to go down, and I missed it.
Yes, that's definitely an unfortunate turn of events. Sometimes you just miss the obvious choice. So two gamers, one Melvin, not going to be meddling here in the Zelda II Randomizer part of the SHI Tournament Olympics. But do you have confidence in your other compatriots?
Yeah, I mean, you know, JSR2 is pretty good at any game he touches. He's a little obsessive when it comes to, like, practicing and grinding, so you know he's going to do well. He's done well in SHI tournaments, in any Zelda tournament or bounty race he's touched. I mean, he definitely puts in the work to get things done. Zarnax is already great at the games he plays. He just has to, you know, de-rust or play, you know, a little bit, get back up to speed. But he has excellent times in the game he played. Our team is very well assembled and stacked, and even though I did lose here, I would not be surprised if we swept the golds in the other 5 races.
A show of confidence from AngryLarry. Definitely a ray of hope for all of the people of Two Gamers, One Melvin. So one thing that you may have missed in this seed is the fire spell. As you know, these are the Swiss flags. The fire is combined with a different spell, and that happened to be the thunder spell. And unfortunately, that was in Darunia. You did find the child, but you never did turn him in to acquire that spell. What was going through your mind to make that decision?
Well, I got the spells I needed pretty early. I mean, both of them were, you know, 2 of them were in the towns I eventually found in the Western continent, and the other one, the fairy spell, was that in Nubaru? I don't even remember where that was. So free spells, required spells. I did not need to cash in the kid, and of all the times I did cast Thunder, I have to remember to swing my sword to see if it shoots fireballs, because there's something, it gets lost on me there in the reverse direction of recognizing what fire is before you get fire. I don't know if I would have cashed in the kid if I saw the fire spell. I needed to make up time, and like trying to find it, because who knows, it could have been blocked by the trophy, and turning in the kid could have wasted even more time. But now I understand what Neerrm was talking about when he said that I congratulated him in IRC and in SRL IRC, and told him I missed some things, and even said that like that wouldn't have cost me the race, and he said I missed something else, and now I guess I know what it is. It's the Fire's Thunder spell.
I see some post-game jibes going back and forth between AngryLarry and Neerrm. I see. Just another thing for the committee to investigate on Neerrm. There is a report that he may or may not have had an informant telling him where things were. So we will be analyzing this race, and we will have an official decision soon.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, you can't control chat, what they say. I mean, most of them are idiots anyway, so, But I don't know. I don't think my chat can hear me right now. But yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. Those things happen. Like, there was a jerk in the last race who basically came into the race channel just to tell us he doesn't like randomizers and he's going somewhere else. Like, that guy can eat a dick. But like, everyone else, they're normally just stupid, not insulting or detrimental. So if that happened to Neerrm, that's unfortunate. I don't know if it really would have played in the fact into, I still played poorly, but we'll see.
All right, well, that will complete my questions. Hans Buttface, do you have any questions for AngryLarry?
Yeah, I was just really interested in his choice for microwaved dinners and foods. I mean, yeah, I just you can't go wrong with a good Chef Boyardee beef ravioli. I don't know if you guys were talking about foods and mentioned that one, but that's a classic. And yeah, I guess your standard Hot Pockets and stuff like that. But normally I don't really eat microwave food. Occasionally, like this is when I used to live in an apartment and just not try to be cheap, but just try to. I buy food in quantity, not in quality, and I eat in quantities. Like, dinner costs $10 when I go out. It doesn't matter what I'm getting. If I'm getting stuff on a dollar menu, I'm just kind of like buying until like a set amount in my mind. Like, 2 cheeseburgers could probably be okay, but why can't I get 2 cheeseburgers and large fries and the side of this? Dollar Store used to have some good microwave foods, taquitos and jalapeno poppers, mozzarella sticks. They used to have individual sandwiches, like a spicy chicken sandwich or like a barbecue rib sandwich. And I used to, just grab a bunch of those and microwave them, and they were actually pretty good. That's a very interesting answer, but looks like we're going to have to make our way. It's 11:37 p.m., and the Diddy Kong race was supposed to start at 11 p.m. So these runners have been waiting for Diddy Kong to start. Donnie, do you have anything else?
No, that will be it from me. Once again, thank you, Hans Buttface, for joining me on commentary on this race. And I want to thank the 23 restreamers and statisticians who helped us commentate this race to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I also want to thank all you guys for the restream, the commentary, the tracking, the framework that you do, the letterer, the guy who does the fonts. Very well done. And I'm sorry I was 37 minutes late to the race, but I was in the mall and I decided to get some food and shop for a little bit, and then came back and decided to do the race. So thanks again, everyone. All right, Donnie, there you have it. Heat number 3, Neerrm advances, and we have heat number 4 left to play, Rose City Saint versus Dig Shake at a undetermined time. So thanks a lot for joining us today.
It was an honor and a pleasure, Hans, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, good luck with that Brexit thing that you guys got going on there. And thanks everyone for joining us. And stay tuned for more SHI Tournament Olympics. The first round of Super Mario Bros. 1 and Tetris coming next week. And Rose City Saint and Dig Shake live whenever it happens. Take care and have a good night.